Hello and welcome. My name is Tori and this is my new channel called Pages and Pastimes. I'm coming to you today with the Newbie Book Tag because this will be my first video and I'm really excited about it too, so cheers. So we're gonna run through about 10 different questions just to get to know me a little bit better, and then if you want to leave a comment I can get to know you as well. So the first question is, why did I start this channel? So I currently work a 9-to-5 job and I've always been a very creative person. I've always had a lot of thoughts that I've just wanted to, express a bit more. So this will be a creative outlet for me to do those things. And reading has always been like my #1 hobby for the last decade of my life. So being able to share with people who have been reading the same books and having the same thoughts and feelings will be incredible. But I've been watching BookTube since like 2016, 2015, and I've always wanted to try it, but it hasn't been the right time, and I'm ready to do it now. So the second question is, what are some fun and unique things that I can bring to BookTube? So as I mentioned before, I'm a very creative person, always coming up with different ideas, but one of the things that I've wanted to do is I like making themed videos, or like, I'm a very organized person, put things into categories. I think I can make fun themed like reading vlogs, reading challenges, those sorts of things. And I also have a bunch of other hobbies too, so creating like some cross-hobby content. Like I'm a big video game person. I really like watching TV shows and seeing like the intersection between the books and TV. So just bringing like a variety of things to the internet would be fun. So the third question is, what are you most excited about for having this channel? So I think the thing that I'm most excited about is having more reader friends, and the reader friends that like reading the same things as I do. Because I have some in-person friends that like to read, but we only have like some intersection. But just being able to consistently talk about books just sounds amazing, instead of me going up to my boyfriend and completely telling him the entire plot of a book where he's just like, oh, that's nice, But being able to connect with people and have like those genuine connections over books, I'm really, really excited about. The fourth question is, why do you love reading? I feel like that's equally such an easy thing to answer and also such a hard question to answer. I love reading because it's not only a form of escapism, but it's also a way to feel connected to a story, connected to characters, see yourself through somebody else's eyes, and also understand people from like another level too. So I'm also like a word nerd too, so like studying writing as a craft is also something super interesting with reading. So it's like both sides of the coin, where I love escaping and getting lost in a story, but I also love dissecting a story and seeing how the author crafts that story too. Question number 5 is, what book series got you into reading? I'll have to put my coffee down for this one. But that series is right here, and it is the Giver series by Lois Lowry. I know most people probably don't even know that this is a whole series. It's a 4-book series, and I have the special edition of it. But I read The Giver for my literature class in 7th grade. And after I read The Giver and the books following it, which are Gathering Blue, The Messenger, and Sun, all I wanted to do was read. I thought it was so interesting, and that was really when I got my start, I feel like. But The Giver's just so interesting because it's meant for young people, but it asks so many questions. So if you get the chance, you should go read the entire series because it's definitely worth your time. So question number 6 is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? So there's quite a few. I will do one fun one that's been on my mind, and then I'll also do some more that are related to like YouTube. So the first question I would love to ask like booktubers or people in general is like, what 3 or 4-star books do you still constantly think about? Like, I just think that's such an interesting concept because people talk about like, oh, this book is 5 stars and I think about it all the time. But like, what books did you give like 3 or 4 stars that you still think about? I have a few of those, but that's the fun question. More like YouTube related questions. I feel like, how do you like balance the line between creating content that's popular versus like the content that you want to, put out into the world? I feel like that's important. And then the other question I would ask is, how long does it generally take to like have that following group of people where you have like a genuine connection? Because I want to do like book YouTube more as like a way to like connect with people rather than to, you know, like be a content creator my whole life, you know? But those were the questions that like first came to my mind. Question number 7 is, what challenges do you think would be the hardest to overcome on BookTube? So I kind of already mentioned that in my previous answer, which is like, how do you draw the line between creating content that's popular versus the things you want to put on the internet? But so I would say finding that balance, and then even like balancing work and life and then creative outlet is also in there. But the hardest part for me is going to be getting over my own personal anxieties of, you know, putting my thoughts and opinions out there and, you know, seeing how people react to it. I feel like that's a normal fear to have, but I also think this is good for me as a way to step out of my comfort zone just a little bit. Question number 8 is, when did you start reading? So as a kid, I always liked books. Like, I really enjoyed reading like the series of Unfortunate Events, like The Tale of Despero. Those types of books were my jam back then. But I really started reading when I was about 13. That's like when the obsession started. And then once I was 16, that's when I was like going to the library every week, reading through series, just enjoying reading too. And it just kind of carried from there. Question number 9 is, where do you read? So I have 2 spots that I really like to read at, in my house at least. When I'm outside of the house, I like to go to different coffee shops because I just like the little bit of like background noise and like the smells and things. So if it's out of the house, coffee shop all the way. And then if I'm in the house, I have a green armchair out in the living room that I read at every morning. And then in our back hobby room, I have a like white beanbag that I just bought, and it's super comfy, super cozy. So I like reading in that like later in the evenings then. Question number 10 is, what kind of books do you like to read? And this question is the easiest one to answer for me. I am the type of person, I will read anything. If you give me a compelling reason why to read something, I want to know. Like, a book is popular, I want to know why, you know? So I read any genre, but my primary ones that I gravitate towards myself, I love literary fiction, I love fantasy books, I also really love horror books and romance books. All of those are like my top favorites. I've been reading more like memoirs and nonfiction lately, which I've been enjoying quite a bit too. But I also am not opposed to like reading sci-fi, and I love graphic novels and manga. I have my whole like manga shelf here. So basically I'm down to read anything. Anything that's got good writing or good characters, I'm always down for. Okay, I think that was the final question, but let's take a moment to appreciate the cat mug I've had for a really long time, and on like the inside it says, "You've cat to be kitten me right now," which is so dorky, and I love it. This is Caladan, aka Cal. He is named after a book character from my boyfriend's favorite fantasy series called the Malazan series, or Malazan, however you say it. And he is just big sweetheart. And he says hi. Say hi, Cal. But if you made it this far into the video, just leave me your favorite emoji and what book you're currently reading. Thanks so much for spending some time with me. I'll see you in the next video.